friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfe from our Half Acre Homestead. What I'm going to show you today is another gift from the heart. Now, it may be a little early or a little late to be starting these for Christmas now, but if you have a lot of time on your hands, you can do these. What I'm talking about is this braided rag rug. Now, it's a little lumpy and uneven at the moment because it just came out of the dryer. But I made this a lot of times when I started quilting. People started giving me fabric. I appreciate all the fabric that's been given to me, but a lot of it was not, the pattern on it was too big, or the print was too big, or the material was too heavy, or it wasn't the material that I wanted, or the color that I wanted. But it doesn't mean that it has to be thrown away, okay? A lot of this stuff is a heavier upholstery fabric or old flannel, pajama bottoms and all kinds of things. And this is a braided rag rug, and I use this on the side of on the floor on the side of my bed because my bedroom floor gets cold. And all I'm doing, and I'm going to show you the one I have in progress. Okay, so here we have this one. We'll put it up on my footstool. It's guarded by my dog. Yes, Peppy. No, you're not getting up here on the footstool. Okay, so we have this, and as you can see, this is just braided fabric. And all I do is I take strips of 3-inch wide fabric, and if I can find the end of this, I take strips of 3-inch wide fabric and I fold it, and I'm going to show you how. You take a 3 to a 3.5 inch. Now this would normally be thicker, but it's not flannel or a heavier upholstery fabric. Now you just fold it into the center like that until they meet, and then you fold it in half again. I'm just going to put a pin in here to show you what I'm talking about. Now it seems like a lot of fuss. You can do this with raw edges if you want, but if the edges are not raw or if they're folded, they will last so much longer. Now I'm only pinning it for demonstration purposes. If you notice here, there's no raw edge, and what I do is I just continue to go down. Once you've got, I sew along here, either with the sewing machine, but if you want to hand sew, just use a rough, big basting stitch. No one's going to see it. So you can just whip through that, boom, 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 boom. And I continue to sew along here until I have several strips. It's faster, admittedly it is faster with a sewing machine. But I mean, if you've got winter months when you're not gardening and canning and all that stuff, you know, you can do this. And when you have 3 of these sewn, you can put the edges together and you make your braid like I showed you. Now this, I'm going to show you, it may look odd. This is the one I'm working on. Now this may look odd, but believe me, now it is a bit of a pain in the butt when you have all these long strips because they continually get tangled as you braid. So it may be easier to detangle as you go every foot or so. Now as I showed you, I put the safety pin at my last spot, and I just hold this. I don't know if you can see that, but I just hold this with my toe while I'm watching TV, and I just sit here. I'm sure there's devices you can use. I just sit here, and every once in a while I give it a tug to untangle, and I just go this way until I get to a certain length, and I detangle again. I have a bad habit of making my strips extremely long, but once you untangle one and pull one out, the rest will just untangle. And I want to make sure my braid is good and tight, because if the braid isn't tight, it's going to be loose when you sew it together, and then you're going to have gaps and it won't hold together as well. And when it gets to a certain length, then you just put a safety pin through it to hold your braid in place, and you continue to braid on down. Anyway, there we go. There's my braid I'm working on, and shh, don't tell anybody. I'm hoping to give this to my husband for a bedside mat. Like mine for Christmas. Anyway, this is the Mrs. Wolfe saying, if you can't quilt with it, rag rug with it.